Welcome to episode 10 of Show and Tell. Amazing episode in store. We have 12-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, Rookie of the Year, Mike Piazza on the show. And also, defensive back from the New Orleans Saints, picked off Tom Brady. Well, you'll find out a couple of times on the New Orleans Saints, Marcus Williams. So, big show ahead. Very excited. But before we get into the interviews, I'm going to show my picks like always. But before I do that, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we always put the full episodes on our website as well, and highlights are on Instagram. So I'm going to touch on a couple of brands that I'm really feeling. I mean, at the end of the day, fall season is here, so now we can get our layers on and have some fun, and I got a bunch of picks. So without any further ado, our friends at Luca Avatabile, he sent us, this is an overshirt, and it's amazing because you can style it so many ways. It's a perfect hue of blue. I'm sure it's reading on camera, but if you really saw this in person, it doesn't do it justice. It's unbelievable. And what's really awesome about it is first of all, his made-to-measure and bespoke products are unbelievable. And then what he does is, if you want to buy something off the rack, he actually asks you for your measurements and he makes adjustments from the off the rack pieces. It fit me like an absolute glove. I could wear it a myriad of ways. A shirt and tie underneath. I could even put a blazer over it. I could put a turtleneck underneath. So many different ways to rock that, and you'll be seeing me rocking it all season. And then another shade of blue. This is a dress shirt. Fits like an absolute glove. I'm talking about like the fit is perfection. Absolutely incredible. It's so, when the man is in a really nice dress shirt, he feels like he can accomplish a lot. And when I have that on, I feel expensive. It's an incredible shirt. Thank you for affording me that luxury, Luca. It is amazing. Guys, if you're looking for just somebody who specializes in shirting, he's definitely your guy. Check him out on social. Unbelievable stuff. Moving on, we all know it's winter time, and that means we all need to warm up with some whiskey. And here's two picks that I absolutely love, especially this double oak from Sagamore Spirit. This one is a great rye whiskey. It's got 83 proof, and then the double oak has 96.6 proof, but just absolutely incredible product. I actually had a third bottle, already went through it. Sagamore Spirit is definitely an incredible whiskey to enjoy if you're enjoying it with a cigar or you just want to enjoy with friends. Football Sundays, it works pretty much all the time. I really feel excited for this episode because Mike Piazza is obviously a legendary athlete, and Marcus Williams has walked our runway show, so I'm super excited about it. So I wanted to put on my best. I went with this Paul Stewart blazer. It's amazing. It almost doubles as outerwear. The fabric is extremely heavy. It's amazing. I can't wait to even wear it with a chunkier sweater. There's just so many different ways. Turtleneck, of course, even a hoodie under here because it's so heavy it would stand up to it. I'm really excited to rock it a bunch of different ways. I think even a nice heather gray trouser or even a off-white, like a light cream trouser would be really nice with this blazer. So stoked on it. And then also this sweater, which really works great on its own. And then, of course, for layering, is from AG Jeans. I rock their jeans pretty much all the time. I mean, you can see it on our social. But this sweater is amazing. Another pair of trousers that I got from them that I'm super stoked on. Everyone knows I love heather gray. These heather gray trousers, they feel, they're so soft, like it's amazing. And fit is, it's AG, so fits like perfectly. For traveling, if you guys are heading anywhere and need a luxury garment bag, this garment bag right here from Herring Shoes, as you see the zip going across the body, it's absolutely amazing. Just an incredible garment bag if you're traveling. Not only because I know a lot of people are not traveling as much as they used to in airports, but if you're going home to your family and stuff like that, and it's happening frequently, and that is an amazing piece. You'll always be prepared and do it in style as well. Of course, we need to talk about boots. Our friends at Thursday Boots, oh man, they sent us some killer footwear. These black brogues are amazing. I got a black watch recently. Can't wait to pair it with it. Those boots are amazing because you can really wear it with a suit. With if you just sort of take your trousers and roll them up once or twice, and then of course you can wear it more rugged style as well. And then check out the suede boots. These are awesome. I mean, I feel like wearing your jeans right to here. You can even cover the buckle. It's just so clean. The suede is buttery soft. I'm set for the winter. I can't wait to rock these. I'm actually excited now that the show's over. I could rock them as much as I need now. So Thursday, thank you so much. The product is incredible. So without any further ado, I hope everyone enjoys the show. Remember, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and check us out on social. Mike Piazza, let's do it. We have Hall of Famer Mike Piazza with us today. We're very lucky. How are you, Mike?
Good to be with you. I'm well.
So I am very excited to ask you a couple questions today. So I'm going to start right off the bat, and we're going to try and hit you with a couple curveballs today. So
okay, I'm ready.
How is acting in 2 weeks' notice with Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant?
That's pretty funny. Ironically, I came back from Europe about a week ago, and you want to know the truth? I never watched the movie from start to finish. So it was on the plane, and I decided to watch it. And how was it acting? It was fun. It was a fun experience. I mean, Sandra was wonderful. She's very lovely, and Hugh was Hugh. He's very charming at the time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's been a few years, but I still think it's funny when people come up to me and they still remember that little cameo I did. But it was definitely fun. I actually did talk about the cutting room floor. I mean, I did a few more scenes that really didn't make the cut, but nonetheless, it was cool. It was it's always fun. I had a lot of fun doing stuff like that, and it's fun to be remembered.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, like, overall, do you like the experience? And I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was blessed to do a bunch of commercials. I when I was in Los Angeles, I had a picture there. You may have known he's the first modern Japanese guy. His name was Hideo Nomo. Had a great career, and I got some Japanese. Yeah, the tornado, and I was fortunate because I had a following in Japan because I was his catcher, and a lot of the fans over there were appreciative that they felt like I was helping him with his success. So I did a few commercials over there, and then it parlayed into here. I did some stuff with the old 10-10-220, remember the telecom company, and some various other things. So I enjoyed it. I loved it. Obviously, I never took myself too seriously as a thespian actor, but nonetheless, it was a good time, and obviously, it was a little lucrative as well.
Good. Well, that's important. There you go. So, as a 12-time All-Star and NL Rookie of the Year, you got to play in New York and LA. What was your best nightlife? Not like nightlife total, like your night. Like, what was the best night in New York and in LA for you during your run in both?
Like actual specific night? Oh,
yeah.
I don't even want to go there. Now I'm married now. I'm luckily, I'm happily married for 15 years. So, and I actually have to jog my memory, but because I keep telling people, I'm kind of a quasi dinosaur now. I mean, I've been retired for a while and I've moved on in life, but let me put it this way. The nightlife at the time I was in LA, Manhattan Beach is where I lived at the time. That time it had a very beachy vibe. So it was kind of like, shorts and flip-flops going out and keggers and beer and a little bit of tequila, a little bit of Jaeger. It wasn't really that sophisticated. It was just a bunch of kids and I think students putting off life, pilots, flight crews, because a lot of because it was very close to the airport. It was just a great time. I mean, we used to go to this bar called Harry O's. We used to go to, I think there was another one called 12th Street. mean, after every game, I think Eric Karros and I have the record for 3 years straight. We didn't pay for one beer at Harry O's. So,
Well, when you're
you know,
when you're the toast of the town, I guess that's what comes with it.
it was fun. No, we had a blast. And then New York was a little more sophisticated, obviously a little more clubby and bottle service. And I really wasn't one into the clubs per se. I mean, because those things had a tendency to drag on to the wee hours of the night and into the morning. So I did it once in a while when I was able to pick my spots. But generally, I was very blessed. And you know, my personality was I wasn't really a hardcore partying guy. But I love meeting people. I was also into music, so I went to a lot of concerts, specifically rock. So I wasn't really one of this guy that was kind of, what do I say, you know, didn't really have a wall of trophies, so to speak, when it came to my, how would you say, my nightlife. I just kind of went with the flow and just was a laid back guy and was blessed to date some beautiful women and meet some really cool guys. And so I would say generally I don't regret it. It was so much fun. We had a blast.
That's awesome. So, you know, I'm sure you've had to go and still go to some pretty cool events. How would you describe your personal style, and how do you kind of get ready for, like, if you would go to like the ESPYs or the Grammys or something like that?
Oh, it's a good question. I think I've really improved my style since my first days in the big leagues. You have to understand, when you're going through the minor leagues, you're just sort of grasping at straws. You're taking anything you can, t-shirts and jeans. I was always a t-shirt and jeans guy. When I got to the big leagues, I for the first time we had to wear suit and jacket. And I have a lot of those sort of, if you remember those 90s style suits, I kind of just
like
dug.
the MJ ones. They're like the like George Orwell joints.
Remember the Johnny Cochran Versace ties, like all the.
Love it.
So and I remember the Hugo Boss the Capone. In Italy, we go Al Capone, but the Capone suits with the baggy pants and the double breast and sometimes three-piece. So I was exposed to that. But I also had like a rock vibe too. So I was always really comfortable in jeans and t-shirts and boots and things like that. So I could kind of make the shift. Now that I've evolved, as you're older, it's tough to get away with that younger look. So I try to go polo and you know, nice jeans. Like I wear Keaton jeans now. Levi's Levi's more casual. And now that I'm living in Italy, obviously the Italian standards are extremely high with dress, so I have to be on my game. So I try to keep it flexible. But truth be told, in Italy, the last 5 or 6 years, they've kind of found that business casual vibe. So you'll see guys going to the meetings with, obviously they're a lot thinner than most Americans. They'll have the nice jeans or sort of like the Lanvin sneakers and nice dress, you know, nice dress shirt. Usually shirts in Italy are fit perfectly. So that's the good part about being over there.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So you segued me to 2 questions that I was going to go into. You know, well, let's talk about your style first, since we're on the topic. And then I was going to go to Italy. So as far as, you know, you've done some broadcasting now. So I'm sure, you know, for that, you kind of, first of all, you do need to dress your age. You also need to dress professional. And, you know, I feel like you're doing a great job of that. So I have personally seen how your style's evolved. And I wanted to know, like, you know, as far as like options goes, do you go custom? Or do you buy it off the rack? Because, you know, you're kind of like a bigger guy. What do you do?
Yeah, it's tough for me to buy it off the rack because I got to get the pants recut because I'm like almost a 50 long jacket or 48 long. So the pants are usually like 38. So I don't want the zipper or the pocket in the back of my butt, you know. So I do have to get sort of, I wouldn't say bespoke, you know, like hand cut, but there are. I'm sorry?
You get made to measure then?
Yeah, made to measure. Like I think it was the one brand that I had recently. It was, I mean, you know, it was a pretty high-end Italian brand from Naples. But generally, I like now more sport coats. You know, I think. I'm sorry?
Was it Isaiah?
It wasn't Isaiah. It was. I could go look actually. It was.
It's all good.
It was in that realm. You would know it. I could dig the shirt, and they fit really nice. But
Nice.
generally right now, I kind of just dig in the sport coat because of the flexibility.
For sure.
And then I have a really nice tuxedo. In Italy, the tuxedo is called smoke. They call it smoking jacket.
Nice.
So you always got to have a nice tux just in case you get invited to a wedding. But it's a funny story. I was in New York recently, and I went to this. It would be sort of a little bit of a I wouldn't say discount, or a little bit of a wholesale place. And I just was looking around, and I usually get Keith on jeans there. So the guy there is an Israeli dude who's been selling clothes for years. And I go, maybe I'm thinking about a black suit. And he goes, nobody wears black suits in New York, only doormen and chauffeurs.
Wait. Where was this store? In New York or in Italy?
Yeah, no, in New York on 57th.
Riflessi. I know, Avi. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. In fact, I've gotten a suit from Avi, and that's hilarious. So quickly to sprinkle some baseball into about the broadcasting.
Sure.
Do you feel like you have sort of a leg up on broadcasters because you're a catcher and you bring a different perspective, similar to like Tony Romo with football? I mean, he it's unbelievable insight he gives.
Well, I think yes and no. I mean, yes, because when you do see the game from back there, you have a unique perspective, and it's sort of like most. And I say this, I'm the only player that I'm facing the field. The rest of the players have their back to the rest of the field.
Yep.
So yeah, and look, I mean, I think though I will say this: since I retired, strategies have changed a lot, and I remember my last year when I went to the American League. I played in San Diego in 2006, and I had a great year. I enjoyed it. It was a great team. We had a lot of fun. And then I went to Oakland the next year, and the strategy was different with the DH, and there was a lot of walks, and teams would walk guys just to get to a certain guy, and it sort of ushered in the game slowed down a lot, and specifically in the American League. Now with the last season and with the pandemic, I don't know if that has changed things in relative terms. However, you look at it though, the game has changed. I mean, they decriminalized the strikeout. Guys now strike out 120 times, and as long as they hit home runs and driving runs, nobody cares. Whereas when I played, if you struck out 100 times, they would send you out. They'd be like, you can't hit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing I really don't like about the game. I still believe that you're going to go up there, you're going to try and get on base, you're going to try and get hits. And I like, of course, I'm older and traditional. So I kind of don't really like a way a lot of these statistics have been pushed into a new era, I guess, and with all these sabermetrics and analytics and things. But with that said, it's still the same game. And I think the players are better than ever.
So in this era, would you rather bat third or cleanup?
Well, that's a good question. It depends on who's hitting in front of me. I mean, when I was with the Dodgers, the year I had 97 was one of my best years. I had Delano DeShields and Otis Nixon 1 and 2. So I was hitting second and third, no outs, like 3 times a game. I drove in a lot of runs. Hitting fourth, again, it depends. I mean, and then a lineup has a certain synergy to it. You have to have guys get on base. You have to have guys drive them in. And then you have to have decent hitters in the middle of the lineup that are able to pick up the slack occasionally that aren't meant to really carry the team. And you have to have all that production. So, when you have a guy that has a great year, you got to look around the lineup. Chances are everyone around him had a good year as well.
That's very true. So obviously you're involved with the Mets organization. I believe the Dodgers organization as well. It's just, both of them have got great pitchers. You got, from Kershaw with the Dodgers, you got DeGrom, Stroman, Syndergaard. Would you want to catch any of these guys? And like, if it was your era, do you think you could help any of them?
I can catch these guys with tweezers. That's the kind of skills I have. No, I loved catching great pitchers, and that was the fun about being behind the plate. And one of the things for me, which was beneficial, is if I could go out and catch a shutout or a great game, I really didn't feel like I had to drive in the big runs. So I was able to help the team on both sides of the field. Look, I played in 12 All-Star games, so I caught the Maddox, Smoltz, Glavins, you name it, Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, all these guys. So I really enjoyed it.
Who had the most pop on their throw?
Wow. I never really thought guys that threw hard were that much more difficult. But the guys that threw hard with a lot of movement, we call it sink. Then that's like catching like a cue ball. Some certain guys, and it's really weird. I can't describe it. I don't know how it happens, but some guys throw a ball and it feels like catching a bird, or a wiffle ball. And some guys throw 96 and it's like catching a shot put. It could like almost break your hands. So has a lot to do with just physical ability and the ability to turn the ball over. And because when the ball is sinking and has a lot of movement and you're throwing hard, it's difficult. I mean, I look at Syndergaard for the Mets and I'm like, oh, man, he would be tough to catch. He would beat your thumb up pretty bad. And yeah, I mean, it would be tough now. When I see him there, like, oh, you want to catch in a bullpen? I said, no, I'm retired. I'm done with that. Done with that game.
That's funny. Well, you do coach the Italy national team for baseball. How's that experience?
Well, I've been blessed. I went over there a bunch of times after I retired to help them with their program. And interesting. I mean, different because they don't have the funding that obviously the United States or Japan or some of the Latin teams have. And then baseball in Italy is like a glorified club sport. Obviously soccer is the most popular sport in Italy. And
then
you
must have done a lot for the sport in Italy. I mean, people must have seen relevancy with you.
Yeah, it's been a tough battle though, because again, it's just a sport that really doesn't get a lot of publicity over there. It doesn't get a lot of notoriety. I mean, there are fans that love the game, and there's certain towns that love the game, and they come out to watch their local team. But as far as building a prominent international program, it's difficult. Whereas in the Dominican Republic, which is the size of Rhode Island, you get all kinds of ball players because either you play baseball or you work and
amazing.
And you go in the sugarcane industry and you have to cut sugarcane. So there's only one way, they say, off the island, and that is to play baseball. And so it's a different cultural phenomena. In Italy, obviously, there's more, there's a little basketball, there's handball, there's volleyball, and these sports are really popular. In the north, you have the winter sports like skiing and things. So it's difficult, but there is a very strong tradition of Italian Americans playing baseball, and I just try to do what I can to keep it growing over there. And obviously last year with COVID, it's been very difficult, but we're going forward.
One of my last few baseball questions for you. Can Steve Cohen bring a championship to New York in 5 years?
I believe he will. I mean, I think it's going to be difficult. Money and capital, we say capital is important. You do have to have deep pockets, especially to put a team together, because you're going to have to sometimes run a negative to really go for it. I mean, teams have proven that before. But with that said, you do have to build a team that has a good chemistry and guys that really bond well and are able to pick up that Zen type of synergy of a team. I mean, the Yankees, you saw the Yankees in the 80s. I mean, they spent money all kinds of ways, and they didn't really have great teams. So just because you throw money at something doesn't mean you're doing it the right way. So money's important. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, and I know fans are like, you got to spend, you got to spend, you got to spend. But it's not the sort of magic wand, so to speak. You do have to sign quality guys that got a lot of intestinal fortitude, that can play in New York, that can handle the pressures here. Because playing New York is a different environment than playing in the Midwest and other cities. So, I mean, I know, I can speak from experience. I went from New York to San Diego, and I would have a bad game in San Diego, and I would yell at the people, "You boo at me," Because in New York, I went 0 for 4. They're like, "You suck. You're old. Retire." And then I go to San Diego, I go 0 for 4, and they're like, "Don't worry about it, Mike. Get them tomorrow." And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Tell me I suck. And, so it's different. It's different. But I think he's a passionate guy. He loves the team, and that's going to transfer over to the team. So that's good news.
All right. So we're going to switch gears for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So besides family, what do you think sets Italy apart? Obviously there's things like the food, the wine, style, but what do you think?
That's funny you say that. A good friend of mine, I've been living over there for about 3 years now, and I met some wonderful people, very sweet people. And my friend Francesco from Milan, he has this expression. He said, food and wine is our petroleum. So it is. And that's the sadness about this year, is that it's really hurt the tourism industry over there. And
Yeah.
you know, Italy's a country that depends on tourism. I mean, they depend on people to go there and see the sights and go to Rome and walk around Trastevere and eat dinner and spend money in the restaurants and shopping and go to Milan and go down to Via di Spiga. And so they've really suffered, and it's sad. I mean, for me as an American living over there, it's sad to watch them, because they just want this COVID to, you know, this pandemic to be over so they can go back to trying to find a normal life.
Yeah, for sure. But when things are normal, what are your favorite sort of things to do in Italy? Yeah, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful way of life. I mean, they love children. My children are benefiting. They're learning Italian. They're learning French. They have great friends. I like the fact that you can just sort of take a train. You know, I could get on a train in Parma or Reggio Emilia and go down to Rome, go to Milan for the day. And the fact, I think, that Americans per se, the prototype of these typical tourists, usually goes Rome, Florence, Venice, maybe a little bit of Milan, and then in the summer they may go to Amalfi. But there's so many regions of Italy that I think people need to open themselves up to.
Stuff like that, right?
Puglia, Puglia, Basilicata. Even in the north, I mean, I was up in Udine, Alto Adige, Südtirol, which is in the north. And obviously they have the influence of the Germanic, Austrian influence up in Cortina d'Ampezzo, which is one of the most beautiful. It's like what they call it Aspen, the Aspen of Italy.
Oh, wow.
And the Olympics are going to be there in a few years as well. So they're going to share it between there and Torino and I think Milan. But that's the thing I love about it. And going to a remote small town that's not would be considered a tourist town, and discovering that and seeing the hospitality and just having a coffee in the morning. I mean, I tell Americans, you know, you go there and it's like, it's really tough to get like an omelet and eggs and bacon. It's like they have a cornetto and a coffee and maybe a little juice, and that's it. They don't eat big breakfasts over there, only in the hotels, you know, where they know their Americans are there.
Sure, for sure.
But usually they just go to a bar and have a coffee and a cornetto, and that's it, you know. So it's very interesting and a lot of fun.
Cool. So would you consider yourself a watch guy, a car guy, or a cigar guy?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I used to be a watch guy. I had a watch fetish a few years ago. I kind of checked out of that, you know, because I have an iWatch now. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have an Apple Watch, it's tough because
it consumes a lot of time on the wrist. That's the thing.
Yeah,
and then you don't want to miss the steps, so it's like you don't want to take it off. But I personally love watches, but I hear what you're saying for sure.
I love watches, but it is more like jewelry than it is actually a timepiece. But I mean, again, I had Audemars Piguet, a Royal Oak Offshore. I had a Patek Philippe. I had a Rolex Daytona. I mean, I've since kind of sold them all. I had a Panerai. I had a couple other sort of boutique watches that you may not have heard of. I usually like Italian boutique.
Is there
not crazy expensive. I'm sorry?
Is there any that you've held on to?
I have, right now, I have the Ulysses Nardin, and I have a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, which actually the Mets bought me when I got into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very nice. Offshore, you know, just steel, you know, just a really engraved in the back, which I was blessed to get. I have an old Cartier that my team bought me. I forget which year when I broke the home run record for catchers.
Cartier is amazing. Is it a tank? Is it what shape is it?
It's rectangular. I think it is a tank shape. But when they first started doing the larger formats, you know, their watches.
Oh, is it a Tank Luis? Which is bigger tank. Okay.
It was steel, beautiful, you know, croc band, and I think I have a couple others that you may not have heard. I mean, my brother is a nuts. He's a big Omega guy. He's got the Pro Cloth
and all that.
Yeah, he's got the Speedmaster. Oh, I have an Omega. I have the new version of the X33, which is kind of cool. Nice. That was kind of the Apple Watch before the Apple Watch Titanium.
Mm-hmm. So not a watch guy. So not a watch guy. Like,
well, car guy. I'm actually not a car guy because my brothers are. We're in the car business. You know, we have this company in Philadelphia. We have 25 stores, and we just
I didn't know that. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, it's called Piazza Auto Group. It's on the internet. If you in Philadelphia area, in Delaware, in Lehigh Valley, which is Allentown, and the last 5 years we've expanded into the premium lines: Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Porsche, Mercedes, and we have a couple of Land Rover, Jaguar stores as well, as I mentioned. Volkswagen. I mean, then we have some of sort of would be the domestic, or I should say, Volkswagen, Honda, Acura. So my dad started the company in '68, and now my brothers kind of run the company, and I come in for various merger and acquisition type of meetings, and it's been great. I have a '68 Chevelle, which I built with a friend of mine. I like vintage cars, but now vintage cars are kind of also losing a little bit of that thing now because everything today is so automated. It's a very specified aging population that likes vintage cars. There's not a lot of young kids that really like.
Well, that's because I mean, listen, there are advantages like CarPlay and things like this, but like a 1960s Benz or like a Jag from James Bond. I mean,
we have a hell of a collection. We have in one of our stores.
Sorry, but yeah, continue.
No, it's cool. We have I think a '56 T-Bird, which is beautiful.
What do you drive?
I drive a Mercedes S63. That's what I drive. Yeah, it's a nice car. Yeah. It's almost too much car. It's almost too fast. But the new S model.
Wait, is your interior like AMG or is it like?
Yeah, it's an AMG. Yeah, carbon fiber. It's a beast, man. I mean, it's fast. I got to tell you. And then my wife drives a Range Rover, and I think the new Range Rovers are getting a facelift in '22. So there's some spy shots out there.
Okay.
So I think actually on some versions, on some mock-ups or some they actually showed suicide doors. So I don't know if they're going to do that. And then my brother has a really...
I don't know how I would feel about that, actually, but we'll talk about that another time.
It could be interesting. I don't know. Obviously, they usually throw these out there to see what the reception is, and then I think they probably go back.
I'm sure they'll do it right, though. But right off the top of my head, I was like, I don't know if I would, because it's a classic car to me. To me, that's like my favorite. If you look on my desk, which is right there, there's literally a Land Rover puzzle, like a giant, like vintage, like Land Rover. Like that's my thing is.
Yeah, and the company was bought a few years ago by an Indian company called Tata, and they.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it used to be owned by Ford, and I think Ford owned it in the mid 2000s. And I think was it BMW as well. I don't know if they had a JV.
It's amazing that you know all this.
Yeah, and then the company was bought by an Indian company called Tata, and they've really invested a lot in technology, and I mean they're super luxury now. And the one thing about the British cars, they've always had this reputation for maybe it was truthful or not, about not having the best electronics and electrical systems, and they've come in and sort of crashed the mold on that. So, and then again we've had Subaru, which is a great franchise now. I mean, very popular. You would think Subaru is an '80s, '70s style, import, but it's got a huge cachet. I mean, people love that car. It's crazy. Acura is making some really nice product. The NSX, my brother has a really cool NSX, a certain edition they came out with. And so, yeah, I mean, I look at cars more like a commodity. I'm not really in love with cars. It's kind of obviously a business. So I don't really look at that. And so I would say, I think it was the longest answer in the world about cigars. I think I'm more of a cigar guy than anything else.
So I don't know so I was tipped off on that interest. So I'm a giant cigar guy. I like everything. I just got married, so between my wedding and my honeymoon, I indulged a lot. I actually smoked all Cubans, but I like Dominican. It depends, I'm a Davidoff guy for sure.
I love Davidoff. Love Zeno. Special R is one of my go-to cigars. I think it's a wonderful lunchtime smoke. Mm-hmm. I love the Zeno Chub. I think that's a cool cigar.
I know exactly what it is. Yep.
But I didn't get my gift when you got married. Did you pass out cigars to your boys?
Don't,
I mean,
don't worry, we'll send you something if you need.
I was going to say, you got to hook me up. But
so let me ask you a better question.
Yeah.
So I'm in New York, and because of the pandemic, you know, you're not like really traveling as much, right? So
Yeah.
I like when you want to get Cubans, or maybe you just have a humidor full of them. I have a humidor, but if I want to get new ones, like where do you get yours? I personally use an online e-shop. It's called Monfortuna. They're amazing. If you want to get like literally anything, and if I need something like out of control special, I got a couple Behikes, even though sometimes
Great
Monfortuna
cigar.
has those. Yeah, exactly. So I got two Behikes. I got a 54 and a 56. I did not smoke the 56 yet. I did smoke the 54, which was, I don't know.
They're amazing. I had one last week, and they're amazing.
Did you? Wow. Do you know what size you smoked or no?
I think it was like Robusto. It wasn't a huge cigar. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I get the regular Sigalo 6s in the tubes, which I think is amazing.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm lucky being in Italy. There's a town close to Rimini called Milano Marittima. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It would be about an hour from Bologna. It's the beach town of Bologna. Anyway, there's a shop there, and the guy goes right to Geneva and gets his cigars from.
So that's so funny. Remember, I was talking to you literally about where I get my Behikes is from a store in Geneva called House of Grauer. They're amazing too. But yeah, so like for instance, I'm jealous of you because I mean, don't get me wrong. Cigar smoking is an experience, so I go all out because I'm a loser. But like being able, like you say, to like, you know, smoke in Italy and all these different regions, that's unbelievable. Like I've dreamt, like, cause I'm a clothing designer, like in Puglia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
Puglia.
Yeah, but smoking a cigar there, like with like all the, I mean, come on, man. Like that's like king stuff, you know?
No, it's amazing. And, you know, the one thing I will say that I do enjoy about going to a smoke shop, Harrods, actually, department store in London has an amazing smoke shop. Now you're paying full boat for the sticks. I mean, they're not cheap there, but they're amazing. They're probably top of the line. But as you well know, I mean, I think that the panache of Cuban cigars is that if you are going to invest and even smoke them, you got to make sure you're getting quality stuff, because there's a lot of imitation.
Huge.
There's a lot. And a lot of them may even be Cuban cigars, you know, whereas the workers there will bring stuff out the back door, or they'll take some of the throwaway tobacco that they won't use for the premium cigars, and they'll roll them at home. They'll put the bands on them, and they'll do it that way. You know, it's kind of like when you get accosted in the Caribbean by a guy. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you a box of Cohibas for $200." I'm like,
yeah,
well,
that's why I asked you, though. That's why I asked you where you get it from, because literally the counter.
Well, I say that because I go, how are you gonna charge me $200 when they're at the factory? They're $280. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm lucky that I've been in this for the last 20, 25 years. So at least I kind of know what I can tell just by looking and the sourcing, where they're from. And then if you're going to get them online from a store in Geneva, I mean, they're legit, no question about it. Do they still send them without the bands, or they just send them?
No. Everything comes perfect.
Yeah, because, you know, the custom guys don't even care anymore.
So recently, like a year ago, now you're allowed. You have to do it from like Switzerland, I believe, and like different rules. I'm not completely privy to it, so I'm sure people are going to smash me. But that's sort of what's going on. And now, so I use those two places, and then but I also go to Davidoff shops, and then I'm lucky. I live on Wall Street, so I have a smoke shop that actually I had my bachelor party at, literally right behind that's my local smoke shop. It's called Barclay Rex. It's been there forever.
That's great. Well, also too, Montreal has the Casa de Habanos, and Toronto has the Casa de Habanos, and that guy goes down to Cuba directly. I met the guy in Toronto. Really nice shop. So there's ways. I mean, but I also say, you know this as well. I had, for the first time, I really smoked Opus X last summer. And I had never really, I'd always heard the hype. And my first reaction was, yeah, okay, they're great. And I thought it was a little bit bullshit. But to be honest with you, when I smoked the Opus X, I had never been more impressed with a cigar.
Was it a good draw, or like, what was it like?
It was just, I think it was Lost Cities? I forget, the actual name was Lost Cities, and then I have a few more. The flavor, the draw, the construction. I was. Have you smoked before? I mean,
I've never smoked an Opus X. No.
I highly recommend it. There's a guy in Ocean City, New Jersey, that actually has a hell of a Mike Cigars. I think in Ocean City is a really nice selection. And but I gotta say,
give him the promo. He owes us that. He owes us.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's great. But the point is, I was always that guy who was like, oh, I think they're overrated. But then I never been so impressed. Not light. I mean, definitely full-bodied cigar, but not where you would think. But not where you would think it would leave you kind of on Jupiter. You know, it's just got amazing flavor, amazing draw, amazing taste and construction.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't have to sell them. I'm just telling. I mean, I'm sure I'm not telling any of the guys don't know. So no. I highly recommend it. Definitely. But again, you know, I was fortunate at that one store I was telling you about in Italy. I grabbed about 3 or 4 boxes of the Seagull 06s in the tubes.
Nice.
I actually gave.
I have a bunch. Yep.
They're awesome. It is such a great cigar. Mm-hmm. The Italians call it the Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, they have Siglo 2, Siglo 3, and Siglo 4. They're all different like shapes. They're awesome though. For sure.
There's one Italian guy, he smokes those Italian cigars, those Toscanos, you know.
What are the Cigarello one? Like
yeah, like the Clint Eastwood cigar. And then I was smoking one. He goes, that's a Schwarzenegger cigar. Like,
yeah.
So
listen, our new plan together is it's very simple. We'll take your S class out to Puglia and we'll smoke an Opus X. All right, figured out. We're done.
Awesome.
So, you know, obviously you're a Hall of Famer. And, you know, as a superstar, I'm sure it's very hard to be fazed just by anything these days because, you know, you've been exposed to a lot. However, when you were giving your Hall of Fame speech, were you kind of like, holy shit, I'm giving my Hall of Fame speech? Like, how did that feel? Like, be honest with me here.
I think as an athlete, you have a certain routine to prepare to play or prepare to do what you have to do. I'm sure actors or performers have this same routine. And when you do it correctly and you internalize the feeling, and for me it's pray. You know, when I pray and I feel 100% that I'm gonna knock it out of the park, a certain calmness comes over you, and then you just go out and do it. And even though it was very difficult at times because it was very emotional, I just remember walking up to that podium and thanking God for that opportunity and feeling 100% calm because you can't help but be emotional because your whole life, everything you've worked for, all the people that supported you, all the coaches that helped you, your family that, you know, as I said, my mom, you know, I remember her washing my uniform and watching me in the cold April, you know, springs of Pennsylvania, going out to the game, sitting there having hot chocolate for us so all these emotions and moments come and just hit you. So it's just an extreme feeling of gratitude. And I just wanted to try to communicate that. And I think I did. And so I guess to answer your question, you just have to kind of focus and almost like you're getting ready for a game. And then if you prepare, you know you're going to do it.
That makes sense. Yeah, if you prepare, you shouldn't be exactly. You're ready for it.
And that's funny you say. Some guys actually went up there and didn't really. I mean, one of the directors told me write everything down because you get emotional. You're going to get emotional, and it's always good to have, you know, a framework to go back to. So I tell people when they speak, don't make that mistake.
I'm sure there was tons of Piazza jerseys out there too. So your eyes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm saying your eyes can get lost too. So if you're not prepared, you're like,
sure,
you have marbles in your mouth. So anyway, we have 3 questions left, and you've been unbelievable. So thank you. Okay, one is.
Hey, my pleasure, man.
Thank you. I need to know this, and it's a quick one. What's your drink of choice?
Right now, True Vodka and a splash of soda.
Okay, well, first of all, it's good health-wise. That's what I've been doing recently because I didn't want to look like an animal.
I might as well pump. You know, I'm doing a vodka project. There's a gentleman in New York who started a company called True Vodka, Italian-made vodka. They make it, distill it up in Alto Adige, close to Udine in the mountains of Italy, and I say this all the time. Vodka, there's some great vodkas out there. I mean, there's all the names that you probably are familiar with.
Hmm?
But when the Italians do something, it is something very special. And they had not really. I think Roberto Cavalli did a vodka years ago. It didn't really do that well.
Hmm?
But this is a quality vodka. It's called True Vodka. And, we're slowly growing it. We're doing old school. We're selling, we're talking to people and spreading the word. So if you get to check that out. But look, you name it. I'm a wine connoisseur. I'm a beer connoisseur. I'm a spirits connoisseur. I love single malt scotches. I love grappa. I love.
What's your favorite whiskey?
Macallan 18. You mean single malt?
I love Macallan. I also got recently into Japanese whiskey a lot.
That's funny you say that. I did. I just recently had a Japanese whiskey. I picked a couple up. There was a blended one, and I don't remember the names. Obviously, the labels have the kanji on it, so it's tough to source. It's tough to figure out. But no, what's funny? Real quick, I was playing golf in Scotland a few years ago, and
cool.
I have Japanese golf clubs. That's my little niche too. I love really handmade Japanese clubs, and there's a few houses over there. And the caddy is looking at my clubs. He's like, "Laddie, where are these clubs from?" And I said, "Oh, they're Japanese. They only make a few sets a year." And he goes, "You know what we say? If it's not Jap, it's crap."
That's funny.
So I always said the Japanese have a certain skill in everything they do, and they have a certain discipline from making swords and golf clubs to cars and now whiskey. So you're probably not going to go wrong.
All right. So next, I wanted to ask you a little bit about style with sports. You played in the Dodgers. They have one of the most iconic uniforms, clean hat ever. And then you also the Mets, they have a very iconic uniform, and you made one of them famous that they recently just bought back, the black uniforms. And the reason why I'm asking you this, and this is a little corny that I'm doing this, but I designed for, I don't know you know this, but 9 markets for Major League Baseball, including the Mets. My product is sold in Citi Field. But basically, look,
Cool.
So I do different styles. So this gray one right here is actually like a wicking fabric. Which means it's basically waterproof. So it's amazing.
Oh, cool.
You can sweat in it. You can go in the rain, the snow, whatever. But the best part about it, because this is what my friends say, is that it holds its shape forever. You can kind of beat it up, and it actually, which is really hard for a hat to do. So we do that, and then we do the on-field, just fitted. I do a Dodger, I do Mets, but what I always do is I always add like one thing that connects like the team to their fan base. So I put Amazing under there, and actually,
cool.
To get that accomplished was actually extremely hard, like a word mark for a team. So I'm really proud of him. I got to send you a bunch, but I really wanted to hear what your thoughts are, just because, I'm a nerd like that design wise. I feel like the Dodger blue is so like iconic. I mean, who doesn't look good in that? And then, also the Mets, I mean, I know it's corny, but you are the one that made the black uniform popular. So as a designer, I'm interested to hear, which uniforms you like better, the Mets or the Dodgers?
Well, I mean, they're both cool. That's the thing. I mean, I came up with the Dodgers, and I remember the year where they actually went back to the old Los Angeles on the road gray, which I didn't really like. I like Dodgers, yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I just found my Rookie of the Year jersey. I was at my mom's house, and I was looking through some old stuff, and I found the first series from 1993. It's a Rawlings make, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm going to post a picture of it in a few days. I just posted one of a Mets vintage jersey, which a throwback jersey we wore in 99. No, I mean, look, the classic Dodger look from those 80s and 90s, I think was cool. They've done some changes and made it more flat, and they took out the white sort of frame of the number and the names and made it look a little more austere, I guess, a little more classic. I understand. There's, the Mets fans I found are sort of 90-10. I mean, 90% really like the black, and then there's 10% of the people who are just traditionalists.
Traditional, yeah, exactly. It needs to be the Mets.
I mean, I get
exactly.
And I get these, not insults, but these, angry people on Twitter, and they're saying, black is not a Mets color. It's the original color is this. And I said, I get it. Okay, I go with it. I get it. But it just seems like the majority of the people like the black. I mean, maybe because of those teams that we had in the late 90s, early.
You won in it, so why wouldn't it have a nice connection with the fan base, of course?
Yeah, I understand both sides. I don't think. I mean, look, I made a suggestion on Twitter the other day. I said, just bring them back once. I said, like, bring them back once a month at home and do like a giveaway. They don't have to do them every day and put them in the cycle, because I think there are a lot of people that really despise them too. So it's weird, but I would say the majority do like them.
What's your favorite Met uniform? Is it like the Doc Gooden gray ones with with the blue and orange white stripe down like this, like the?
I always found those uncomfortable.
I'm sure they are. Yeah, 'cause they're itchy, a little, right? That material.
I always found them uncomfortable, and then the shirts without the buttons in the front, for some reason, the material bunched up around the belt a little bit more, because unless the waist was very svelte and there was material there, it would get, when the buttons at least seem to be adjusted a little bit more. I like the button down. That's just my personal preference. So yeah, I never really, those 80s looked it was funny. Johnny Bench gave me a jersey from the 70s, and it was really cool. He signed it for me. But I mean, I looked at the size. I go, dude, did you fit into this? I go, it looks like a kid's shirt, And he said, oh yeah, we wore those and they were tight. So he wore the real tight polyester without buttons and things. So there's so many variations now. I don't think you're going to get really a strong opinion. I love traditional colors, but I also like when the teams, it's funny. I never really liked the stripes per se, the pinstripes with the Mets, but
because you thought it was a Yankee thing.
Yeah, I think so. And then it was funny, 99 too, they took the names off the back of the jerseys. So a lot of fans didn't like that. They thought that was trying to be like the Yankees.
Because the Yankees do.
Yeah. So I like the names on, and the black. The reason why is I had some good games wearing the black, and I'm definitely superstitious when it comes to that. So
for sure,
I'll go with the black. It's cool.
For sure. So I got to get you in trouble before you leave with your friends.
Oh no,
Here we go. All right. So if you had to pick, if the Mets were playing the Braves in a golf competition, and you had to choose the Mets squad, who would be on? And you could pick from any era, because I'm sure you played golf with a bunch of different players in the Mets. Who's the best golf players on the Mets besides yourself?
Wow. Todd Zeale's a good golfer. I remember Todd.
So you have what are teams usually, 4 or 5, if you're doing like a tournament?
Well, it depends. I mean, you could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5.
Let's do your top 5. You got Zeale, who else?
Well, I mean, the Braves. John Smoltz is a scratch golfer. Tom Glavine's a scratch golfer, and I know Greg Maddux is a good golfer. So I know these guys would probably. I think we would get our asses kicked because those guys are really good. It depends. If they're giving us strokes, I think we could compete. But I know Todd Zeale is a good golfer. Now, again, maybe it's a good thing the fans know that I was in bed and I wasn't golfing all the time. So I didn't really know a lot of guys that I played with besides, Oral Hershiser is a good golfer. So probably that 3. I mean, Oral played with us in 99. So sure, I think of course. Todd, Oral, and myself probably could have at least hung with those guys. But they're good. So it would have been tough.
All right. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, man.
You were unbelievable. We'll get you some hats soon. And thanks for everything. And by the way, one day though, we gotta smoke a cigar together. That would be something.
Let me know, man. I used to go to 3 Little Indians down in the village. I know Larry, who was the owner there, passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. And I think that was down off in Little Italy there. It was great. And they actually had a guy that would hand roll. You see those little shops sometimes that do custom. With the 2 shaded wrapper and things like that. So it looks like a candy cane almost. And so we do. Keep in touch. I'd love next time I come to the city, we got to have a drag. That would be awesome, man.
Awesome. Well,
have a great holidays.
Thank you so much. If you could just stay for like 10 seconds, I'm just going to sign off and then that's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you want to check out the full episode, please check out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our website. We will always have the highlights on Instagram. Thank you so much, Mike. Today we're lucky enough to be joined by New Orleans Saints star Marcus Williams. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. Good, man. Nice to see you, man.
Absolutely. I'm excited. So how's everything been with the pandemic and now that the season started? You sort of back into full swing a little bit, or is it still a different life for you?
I mean, I'm back in the swing, but it's different now. Going from getting tested every single day and wearing your mask and doing all that stuff that you weren't used to doing.
Yeah.
But now it's just becoming regular, just getting up every day and having to do that, and just staying safe, really keeping away from all the virus and all that. But that's just what we have to go through right now, and until it's over with. So.
Yeah, I hear you. So, I'm curious about your journey a little bit. And, one thing that interests me a lot is I want to know, like, how what's the difference between like your first day ever in training camp in the NFL versus how you feel year 4?
Man, it's just different now. You go in there as a rookie, your first day of training camp, and
Mhm.
you're amped up, you're ready to go. But I guess the feeling's still the same with year 4. You still are trying to show out, be the best. Like it always restarts. It always starts over there. And that's what I love about it. Just being able to be in love with the game, being able to come back training camp year 1 and year 4 and still loving it. And I guess once you stop loving the game on that type of stuff, then that's when it's probably time to give it up. But for me, I just love being able to come back and being able to just be with my teammates, be with the coaches, and be able to play some football even through this pandemic and everything that's going on.
For sure. So obviously you love the game, like you just said. What kind of experience was it picking off Tom Brady? That must be something that you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Man, so my rookie year, I actually picked him off.
Wait, this is the
But
second time you picked off Brady?
yeah, but they called it back. So
Oh,
my
okay.
rookie year, I had picked him off in like what is the second game of the year, and they had called it back because I guess we had too many people on the field, so he threw it up. But I count that as my first one, but I guess this was my legit first one. But I mean, shoot, it feels great. I mean, I just play ball regardless of who I'm going against. It's like shoot, I'm trying to get the ball. I thought he was throwing it to me, but nah. But it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be able to go up against the GOAT, and I go against the GOAT every week though, in Drew Brees. So it's just going out there and playing and doing my job, and helps me get those plays and makes it that much more fun.
For sure. And I know that while you were in college, you actually also picked off Jared Goff. And I was wondering, were you the big man on campus the next day? How did that feel?
I mean, I picked out Jared Goff, but I mean, it wasn't like we had like 5 picks in that game, so everybody had a pick in that game. It wasn't just me, but
Wow, that's crazy because he had a great college career too. I didn't know that he had 5 picks in that game. That's crazy.
yeah, we were. I guess we were like ranked 4, and they were like they were ranked 4, and we were ranked 5 or something like that. But we were both ranked going in undefeated, and then he comes in, and then it came down to the last play though. And Booby Hobbs broke it up, and that was the end of the game right there. But it was we had a lot of interceptions that game.
Yeah, so I have to ask you about your college experience. And this is a little different than football. Did you ever go skiing at all, considering you were in such a great environment?
Man, I didn't even I didn't go skiing, snowboarding, I didn't go snowmobiling, I didn't do any of that.
Did they not allow you, or you just didn't do it?
I'm not sure if they didn't allow it, but it was being on the safe side. You don't want to go up and go skiing
True.
get hurt. But snowmobiling, you could do that, but I just never got around to it. But I actually went paddleboarding, which was pretty cool. I had some gymnasts. We went out there, a couple of friends, and we all went out there to the lake. It was pretty cool. That was my first time paddleboarding and getting on the lake and stuff like that. But that was the only thing I ever did out there.
Oh, I mean, the scenery down there is to die for. So I agree. That must have been an amazing experience. So, you mentioned Drew Brees before, going against the GOAT in practice every day, which must really prepare you, like you said, for pretty much anyone. That's amazing. So, do you guys as a team get pumped every week for him to give his pregame speech? Because they're so legendary and epic.
Man, just like how you gave your pregame speech on the Piazza show, that's how he gives it. It just gets you turned up, get you ready to play, and when you hear his words, they're really inspirational, and you get fired up and ready to play for that game.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't think I've ever been in the same sentence as Drew Brees. I probably never will be again, so I'm going to take that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question about that as a follow-up. So, you know, and I'm not even looking to feed, but what are the similarities between, like, you know, the pump-up speeches, like, you know, that he gives or I give that you feel connects and like leads to better performance? Because I feel when people buy in, you know, whether even if it's my fashion show, you know, you're just going to have a better performance, because if somebody cares a little bit more than they did when they started, then it's just going to be slightly better. And all those slight minutiae add up to just such an incredible overall amazing product when it all, you know, equates together.
Right. I think when somebody's actually caring for you and you can see their passion for it and you can see how much work they put in, how much time they studied, and just like you, how much time you put into your fashion, how much time you went into preparing it, and all that stuff, it comes back around, and you can see that passion in your voice and your demeanor. It just gets everybody fired up to get on the same level you are, because you don't want to let somebody down who's up here and you down here with your energy. So if your energy up here, mine is going to be up there right with you. So those are the two similarities between the fashion show and sports, just in general.
You can answer this next question, Drew Brees, but who is the toughest quarterback to read in the NFL? Or maybe,
Man,
if it is Drew, maybe you can give a second answer as well.
I don't know. I mean, every quarterback has different qualities. Every person is pretty different. I haven't faced every single quarterback, but the one I can tell you that I thought was pretty outstanding was Russell Wilson. He could be in the pocket. He could roll out. He could throw on the run. And this guy, I feel playing him last year, he does really well. I have full praise for him, and I would hope I can play him again and hopefully pick him off. that'll give me some excitement there. But yeah, Russell Wilson is pretty good.
So now I'm going to get you into some trouble. I can't wait for this one. So who has the best style on the team?
The best style, man. Shoot, dang.
I should almost be like, who was the best and who was the worst?
The best style. I mean, let's see who would really bring some style. I think we have a couple guys who got style. I think Cam Jordan always dresses up pretty well. DeMario Davis, and I think Malcolm Jenkins has brought some of his style too. But out of those, I'm gonna go with Cam Jordan. I think Cam has pretty good style and flavor.
So how would you describe your personal style, and like, what do you do for game day? Like, how do you approach that?
Well, I'm trying to get my style up right now. I have bought a couple of suits the last couple of years, and I wear that. I bought some little flannels and some little button up just for home games. Away games, I'm more of the suit guy. I'm trying to get back into that. This year was more tough to order some suits because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. But that's my type of style. But if we traveling, usually I want to wear the sweats on the plane. Then for the game, then I'll wear the suit. But I can't wear the suit on the plane and wear the suit for the game. That's too much. I got to be comfortable on the plane.
I hear that. So one thing that we need to do together one day, who knows, down the line in life, I've always had a dream campaign. I don't know if you know this. I was a stylist for the NFL for 3 years. I handled everything men's apparel.
Really?
Yeah, so I did pretty much anything you've seen, whether it be in GQ, Men's Health, wherever, ESPN Magazine. We did runway shows at the Super Bowl, holiday events, you know, mannequins even if I needed to, you know, whatever was needed, you know. But basically, I have this campaign that I've always dreamt of that we never got around to. And it was for the beginning of a season. And it was sort of a guy who, like, you know, like a superstar athlete like you, dressed in like really tailored menswear, just like a nice suit, like you said, like, you know,
Right.
and it's sort of, and maybe even holding a briefcase. And the idea was, because it's like to tease the beginning of the season, it's kind of this like back to work idea.
Right.
This is the concept. So basically, a camera would trail you, right? And initially, you'd get your feet walking. You'd have really nice shoes, and then and your slacks, and maybe it's a 3-piece suit, and it's like panning up, right? And it's really dark, and basically it's dark the whole time, but you could tell someone's walking to something. And basically, the climax of the campaign is, you know, like where you, I just saw in your last picture on your Instagram, when you sort of have like your entrance when you come out onto the field, there's that lip. but before like where you do the public one, like it's dark and then, you know, you get that crack of light, like sort of right, like the field comes. So
Yeah.
when like basically you're about to have that glimmer of light, because remember the whole thing is shot dark. I wanted to just go fade to black, and I wanted to say in white font, clean, back to work. And
yeah, that would be clean.
Right. So one day we'll do that. And, you know,
yeah,
I'm excited to hear this from you. You know, I hear that you started your own clothing line. So can you tell us about it?
yeah. So I'm starting my own brand, basically marked as winners, and it's basically showing that anybody can be marked as winners. And based on from what happened to me in my past, I just felt like people should have a brand that basically shows that they can be marked as a winner. No matter how far down they are, they can always get back up. No matter what type of adversity they face, no matter what they're going through, they can overcome that adversity. And once you overcome that, you can be successful. You can be marked as a winner. But there's always going to be a time where it's really hard. There's going to be downtime. And there's no successful person without, you know, there being something that happened traumatically in their life. So there's gonna be failure before there's success. So my brand is pretty much saying, let's be marked as a winner. You are marked as a winner. You wake up every morning, you go work out. Bam, you're marked as a winner. You wake up every morning, you wake up at 3:00 and you're working. You're designing your clothes, you're designing your fashion. You're marked as a winner because you want to be the best. You want to do as much as you can to get to your highest potential. So me and my partner, we created a brand marked as winners. So it'll be coming out pretty soon. We're just getting it up and running right now, but it'll be good. It'll be good when it gets done.
Well, that's very powerful and a great message. So I wish you all the luck. And if you need some help, you have a friend who's a designer that you can call.
Yeah.
No doubt. You know, your New York Fashion Week experience, I heard you touch on it with the pregame speech. What was something that happened that you didn't expect?
I didn't expect to have so much energy. I thought, you know, going into a fashion show, people are so serious. They walk in, you know, straight face. I mean, I feel like they are something like that. But this one was full of energy. It was vibrant, and you know, the people out there they brought their own energy too as well. But even the models who were out there, they had so much energy. They were so excited to be a model. They were excited to walk down the runway, and they treated it like a game. So it helped ease me into it without having any hesitation and walk down the path. And I was pretty excited to do that, just being able to be around those guys that I just had met and made me feel like I was already a part of a team. So
yeah, sure.
That was a good experience for me.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely have a family type atmosphere, and it definitely feels like game day on show day. That is for sure. You're not the first athlete to say that, so it's funny hearing that. Just because, you know, like when I ask, you know, friends, and they're like, you know, excuse me, and I'm like, you know, what were you more nervous for? Like, you know, a playoff game or the runway show? And they're like, the runway show by a lot. No, they're like by a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, I'm not nervous to play ball. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't know what to expect. And then it's cool to hear them say that actually, you know, it was a positive experience. It actually felt like it was like a locker room kind of. And I'm happy that you sort of made some friends and felt that energy. So that's cool. So let's talk about some amazing things that you do. I know that you're I know that you're involved with some brain and breast cancer charities, if I'm right. Can you please touch on that? I think it's amazing. Personally, my mother, 3 surgeries. She did overcome breast cancer. She still has to take some medicine, but we are praying that everything is all good. But I think that's amazing. And, you know, not to just continue on before you answer the question, but, you know, something that really draws me to you, and it really talks about how marked as a winner is going to even prosper, is that you do so much off the field. And, you know, that saying of like LeBron, more than an athlete, but you're truly leading by example in doing that. And I think that's amazing, from, you know, your brand and your charities and things that you preach and how you handle people. So I was excited to hear about your involvement in your charities.
Right. So in the next coming years, I'm really trying to get involved in the breast cancer, brain cancer awareness, just because I've had so many family members that have went through it and have passed from it. Mm-hmm. And I've seen, you know, the effects, and I've seen how they've overcome and how they, you know, even through that hard time, how they were feeling, how they were talking to me. It It wasn't like they were telling me, oh, I heard I'm hurting. They're like, you just be strong. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be all right. Just be strong. I'm going to overcome this. And it just related to me. And yeah, I know it hurt me that they went, but it calmed me down when they were telling me, you know, we can do this. We can overcome this. We're going to fight, and we're not going to complain. We're going to go through this. And we're going to be strong. And whenever I play, I'm like, even if I'm hurt a little bit, it's nothing like how they were going through. There's nothing that they were going through, that pain. It's really nothing. So their drive, their motivation, their words to me of encouragement and to be strong and to fight, it always encouraged me. It always drives me to push stronger, even when I'm at my lowest points. Even when it all goes wrong, it's not as bad as what any of them were going through. So my level of competitiveness, my level of hard work, anything that I have going on, anything that I face, any adversity, I always know that I can overcome it, because I just have to be strong for them, and I have to be strong for myself, and just do everything I can to overcome anything that goes wrong at any point.
Unbelievable. Wow. Very, very well said. So the show is called Show and Tell, and we had asked for you to bring potentially an item or two to show. Do you potentially have anything to show off on camera?
What? Oh, dang! I didn't even know I was showing. What I'm showing? What we supposed to
Okay,
show?
it was supposed to be something like that means something to you. It could be something materialistic, it could be something completely opposite, like something that just what's the word, like sort of sentimental value to you or whatever. But it's no big deal if you don't have anything.
Man, I wish I did have something that I could show it.
Well, you know what?
Unfortunately, I don't have any show and tell.
If you think of something throughout the next whatever, we'll just pause the recording. You'll run and get it, but it's no big deal. We'll ask some questions in the meantime. All right.
All right, I'm gonna think of something while
Yeah,
I'm
no
here.
worries. And we're gonna actually right now ask some questions that are gonna really sort of be, we start off with football. Obviously, you identify with that, and people identify you with that, and now we start talking about your style and charities, and we're gonna now flush into more of more like your personal interests. So maybe some things will come to mind. But we do one last football question for you.
Right.
It's a little style related. So for draft day, what was that like? What did you wear? Were you on the couch? Do you ever laugh at any of the pictures from that moment? I mean, I know you were drafted in the second round, which is actually amazing. I know as an athlete, you always want to be the best and maybe pick number one, but holy cow, I mean, to be this, especially in football, I mean, the hardest, like to be high up in rounds, because there's so many different positions people can need. It could be nothing to do with you, just what a team needs position wise, So how did that feel, and what was your style experience like from that day?
Man, so draft day, fortunately I didn't get drafted in the first round, first day. But second day, I really was just at home. I worked out in the morning. I worked out both days. It didn't matter because I'm preparing for a season regardless. But draft day, I actually wore sweats and like a shirt with 3 buttons, and that's it. I had that, and I was upstairs in my house. Then I came down. I was only supposed to have my immediate family there, and then I had about 30 people in the house.
Were they going nuts?
Oh yeah, nuts. So we were on the couch, and I get the call. I'm talking. As soon as I hang up, it goes crazy. I'm like, let's go! I was screaming. Everybody's screaming, and then they finally say my name on TV, and I'm teary-eyed. I'm hugging everybody, but then we start playing the music. Gets pretty high, but it was an amazing feeling.
That night? Were you able to sleep that night, man?
Man, I don't know if I actually went to sleep. The first thing I did was ask for the playbook. I was ready.
That is so dope, man. That's a true winner right there.
Yeah, as soon as he called me, I was like, man, I'm excited to come. But when can I get the play? When I can get the playbook? I was asking for the playbook right away. But yeah, I didn't have no swag that day. I had my sweats on.
Yo, if you're ever gonna mentor another athlete, tell them to say that, because that's that's like what every team management wants to hear. Like the first thing they say in the most exciting moment of their life, is give me the playbook. That's a winner.
Man, that I have to. There's people who was here that already had a step on me. I was already behind because I'm coming in as a rookie. So you come in as a rookie, you got to be prepared. You got to be able to come in, learn fast, and play fast. So have to get that playbook. Have to get ready and get ready for the season.
And you know what? You earned your right to wear sweats that day and feel like a boss on something like that. That's a special day. So that's amazing. All right. So now to your personal interest. So if I asked you, are you a watch, car, or cigar guy? What would you say?
I'm neither of those three.
Really? Okay. So what is something that you would consider? Are you very into music? What's your vibe?
I'm into video games. I'll play video games. I'll play card games. I'll play board games. I'm like the most competitive person, so I just want to play whatever. I'm not really into materialistic things. That's why when you say find something, I'm like, dang, I really don't.
It doesn't have to be materialistic. It could be literally like something that costs nothing, like that just means something to you. But
You know what?
either way.
Yeah, I do got something actually.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you pause it and I'll go get it.
All right, go. I'll pause it. Sure.
All right, so the thing I got is this chain.
Okay.
My mom had bought me this. I always asked for a chain when I was younger. My mom had bought me this chain, and it was just from TJ Maxx, nothing crazy. But I always wore this, and it just meant a lot to me. And nobody would say anything. It's two colors. It's gold and it's silver. But it meant a lot to me that she bought it for me whenever I asked, and I never really asked for anything. But the one time I did, she gave me this. And I keep it with me all the time. And I just didn't think about it until you said that.
No, and that's perfect. And you know what's funny is that, like, you know, whether you have something like extremely expensive, something completely not expensive, it's really the story behind it that makes you really care and you know and love that piece. And what I like about that story is it sort of probably reminds you about, you know, about not only your humble beginnings, but the love that, like, you know, your family has for you and stuff like that. And kind of probably keeps you grounded a little bit as well. And I love that. And, you know, that also speaks volumes of your personality. So video games, talk to me. What type of video games? You said a lot, so I want to hear a lot.
Man, I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm playing Fortnite. I'm playing 2K. I'll play whatever, but I mean, I don't really play Madden. I don't play Madden or stuff like that. I'll play FIFA, but no, I'm on Call of Duty almost all the time with my teammates, my friends, and I think I'm the best. I be screaming. I may not be as good as those Twitch players, but if I got on Twitch, people will have a good time because I'm animated. I'm really animated.
Well, something you may not know, which is funny. Ronnie 2K, who's actually been on the show, he's probably one of my best friends. Yeah, we actually have a show together every week. So if you ever want, maybe me, you, and Ronnie will hoop it up. We do it all the time with people, so we can make that happen pretty much whenever you want. And Grungy Gentleman clothes are in the game, so we got to get you fitted.
What?
Your tracksuit in a different color, actually. So in 2K20, obviously that game is the old one. Now it's 2K21. The clothes are fully out. 21, it hasn't come out yet, but, you know, in a month or two or whatever, it'll be out. But it doesn't matter. We'll get it to you early. And like,
not 2K21 out.
No, I'm talking about my clothes in it.
Oh, it's not in it yet. Oh.
Yeah, like it'll be in swags.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
By the way, how funny do you pull up the swags? Imagine if my first experience pulling up the swags and seeing my clothes in it. I almost fell over. I loved it.
That's live. That is live.
So, do you have like a gaming setup? What's your situation like?
Sure, I got a monitor. I pull one of these chairs over there. I'm trying to get a desk, and I'm trying to get a chair so I can have the full gaming setup. I'm probably gonna get a camera real soon so I can stream. But then I got my TV up, so when I watch the game, play the game. Oh yeah, I'll be on for a long time. But after I watch film,
you know what I better ask before I get crap from again? We had Jared Smith on. He was talking about 2K, and clearly we were talking about the park. And people were wondering if his build was the same of like how he plays. Obviously, you play football, but what's your build in 2K? I want to know if you're a defensive stopper. Is basically what I want to know.
I'm not a defensive stopper because I was a hooper in high school and all that. So I'll be like a playmaking shot creator. So I'm throwing dimes, I'm passing, but I also want to dunk, so I always have to find a build where I can dunk because I'm super athletic.
So what position did you play in high school? I'm predicting the 3 because you just look like a small forward to me.
Nah, I'm 1 and 2. I'm 1 and 2.
Oh, even point guard also.
Yeah, I had handles and I throw dimes.
I love it. So, getting to travel all over the place, through college and even obviously on a professional level, what are some of your favorite places to travel? And like, what's one city that it could be even outside the United States, could be domestic, that you just love the culture, like you just can't wait to get to?
Well, actually, I don't think I've ever actually went somewhere that I haven't been, especially in college. Let's see. College, we went to, actually, I like Michigan when we went to Michigan. When I went to Michigan, that was pretty dope, playing in the big house.
Yep.
That had to be one of my favorite places to play, even though it was raining and all that. But when they came to us, whoo, if you watch that game over again from my sophomore year, you'll see how loud it got. It got pretty crazy. But Michigan was probably one of my favorite places to play in, regardless of if everybody left because it was raining.
But how about to hang out? What are favorite, like, what are your places to go?
I think we went to Seattle. Seattle was pretty nice.
Seattle's very underrated. Randomly, Nordstrom's located there, and I had to go visit them. And like, it's all like on the water with boats, and like there's like fish markets everywhere. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I actually, when I went there, with my parents, after that, I went to the fish market and they throwing, and my mom had to catch fish.
Oh, I knew you were going there because they like scare people sometimes. Like,
yeah, they be
crowds. Yep.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. Just being able out there, and the food was good. So I mean, I didn't have any complaints when I went there. That was probably my favorite place so far.
Yo, how do you stay healthy eating wise in New Orleans? You have a private chef, or you got like a food service? What's going on? Or you got
well, I cooked one, and then right, well, I'm getting ready to get meal prep again. I have meal prep the last couple of years because the food here, you can't be eating too much of it. You're gonna get too big. The food's good, but it'll make you big real fast.
Yeah, for sure. I've been to a couple All-Star weekends for NBA in New Orleans, and the food's great, but boy, it is definitely not the healthiest. That's for sure.
Man,
for a majority of the rest of
right.
But anyways, changing topics. So when it's time for a slight celebration, whether it be for family or even for yourself, what's your favorite drink of choice?
Drink? Well, good thing I don't drink, but if I am, I'm gonna drink cranberry juice or something like that. I drink cranberry juice. That's my favorite drink go to.
Okay.
But I don't drink alcohol. But
good for
one
you.
Day, if I win a Super Bowl, I'll take a drink with my dad. That's
amazing.
So I gotta win a Super Bowl to do that.
So what would it be if it would be what would he does he drink or he doesn't drink? Like would it be?
He drink. So it'll be Crown Royal.
That's because that's what he likes. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that with him when we win the Super Bowl.
That was fascinating to me. You're not about to drink, about your dad. So do you have a strong connection? Is it football like a big thing with you and your dad that sort of like connected you when you were young and stuff like that?
Not really. None of my family really played football actually. So I'm the only one that really played. There's only one brother above me who played football, but it was for a short time, maybe 1 year. But me, I'm the only one who actually played. Really, me and my dad connect through like everything. Shoot, fishing. We go fishing. We play. I mean, we used to play basketball. We took us camping. We connect through board games, card games. Whatever it is, we'll connect on those type of bases. It's not all about sports with us, and that's what I love about my family. It's not all about sports, and they already know. I really don't like talking about sports with them. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just have family time as family time, and they understand that, and that's what I appreciate. I love about them. They don't try to pressure me to play. They never pressed me to play football. They never pressured me to play basketball. They never pressured me to play any sport, and that's made me have love more for the game and not being pressured to do it.
That's awesome. So I'm looking for a cheat code here. What is your favorite iPhone app on your phone currently?
My favorite iPhone app?
Yep.
Apple Music.
Okay. So what are we listening to? What are your go-to? Actually, I have a question. What's your go-to for when you're chilling? right? And then what's your go-to to get pumped up, like whether you're working out or game day?
Chilling. You know, they're actually both the same.
Okay.
I usually listen to R&B. I'm a big R&B type of person, so I'm listening to Jaheim, Jay Holiday, Avant.
Okay.
But then I'll Chris Brown probably up top though. I listen to him all the time. People be thinking I'm crazy, but I just like his vibe. I like the vibe that comes with him. But sometimes if I feel like I need to get amped up a little more, I listen to Meek Mill, I listen to some Jay-Z, I listen to some J. Cole, but usually it's R&B. I'm R&B. I'm smooth. I'm real smooth. That's because my dad was always listening to oldies and R&B, so that's really what I used to listen to.
Got it. That's super cool. So, what is your dream collaboration in or out of your field of work? And that's interesting to me because I feel like you have so many interests outside of sports. So I'm excited to hear this.
Dream collaboration.
So, you could talk like with Warren Buffett business. You can talk about doing something with a Peace Corps. You could talk anything you want. It could be fashion, anything.
You know what? I really want to do is I want to be with around Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what benefits do you feel like that would bring, like for you for long term?
I think because I want to be that motivation for people, and I feel like he's always been the motivation for me. Whenever I need something about effective leadership or communicating or things like that, I just put him on and I listen to him. And he actually came to the Saints and talked to us one year, and I really listened to him and what he said, and he's very powerful just from his own message. And I read his book, Secrets to Success. It's just he's the type of person that brings that energy, and he came from nothing to something, and he did that. He still wakes up at 3:00 in the morning to make sure that he's the best, and he's not stopping it at that. He always says about you, which ET are you? This ET, or are you this ET? Are you the ET, the hip hop preacher? Or are you ET, my husband? Like he does that with his wife. She says that to him, but it's like I want to be able to communicate to kids the way he communicates to everyone. I want to be able to put my impact on those kids, impact their lives, motivate them, push them to be the best that they can be. And I feel like that's what he does. He's that motivational speaker. So in order for me to be where I want to be able to talk to kids and talk to anybody effectively so that they hear the message and not just hearing me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's wrap this up with 3 last questions. Okay.
Right.
You've been absolutely amazing. I mean, one of them is going to be a football related question. So,
right.
I see that, like, and I mean this truthfully, you excel in big game situations. I've seen it. So, when you were going against like beasts like Thomas in practice, like, how does like sort of being lucky that you've been around talent helped you sort of get to where you are? And is there anyone that you would like to call out along the way that you felt, whether even if it's mentally, that's helped you throughout this journey? Because I feel like people, when you're talking about motivational speakers and stuff like that and how it's affected you, I think that's going to resonate to our audience. And that's why I came up with that question.
Yeah, it does help to be around great players. Being around like Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees, everybody pretty much on that offense that goes out there every single day and straps up, is very beneficial to success, because you wanna make sure that you're going up against the best so that you can be the best. You don't want to try to go up against average people and expect to have excellent results. So being able to go against them, learn different tricks, learn alignments, assignments, can only help you play against other teams. For me, I personally like going against competition. I love the competition. I love going against the best people, and that's only going to help me, because if I'm trying to only shy away in the back, then I'm not going to get any better. And there's always room for improvement, no matter how many years you've been playing the game. No matter if I'm year 12 or year 1, there's still going to be room for improvement. So doing that is very beneficial. And then your second question was what again?
Well, no, I think you answered it, actually. That was perfect.
Okay, perfect.
So with your clothing line, what type of products do you think you're going to be making? Do you think it's going to be more lifestyle focused, or do you think it's going to have a performance focus as well?
I think it's more performance based. but I'm gonna have coaches long sleeves and zip ups, and I'm gonna have a polo, but just those things so a coach can wear it. Anybody can wear it. It's not just an athlete. You can wear it, but you can get up and go. So I have the sweats, I have the cutoff, and I have a long sleeve, and now I'm gonna end up going to the hoodie. But right now, it's just little bits and pieces right now, trying to get it all together. So it's just, I don't want it to be anything hanging loose. I want it to be just right before I, release it.
That's super cool. And this is a two-part question for sure. What is your prediction for the rest of the year, and what could we expect next, just in general, from Marcus Williams?
Prediction for the rest of the year as far as our record?
Sure.
Shoot. I feel like we win every game. That's it. Going into a game, I feel like we're gonna win. I don't play to lose. I play to win every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm predicting I'm gonna have 5 more interceptions. Shoot, I need to have a 6-year interception. I need to have some big plays, and I hope plays come my way, and I'm gonna go attack plays so I can go get a play. I'm a ball hawk. I feel like I go after the ball, so that's what I feel like I gotta do for the rest of the year.
So we're gonna see you in the Super Bowl or not?
Shoot, we'll see. We got one game at a time, one play at a time. That's my motto.
I love it. And what can we expect next from you, just in general? And we mentioned the clothing line. Anything else we need to touch on?
Shoot, nothing yet. But when it comes up, you'll know.
I love that. So I'm gonna do a quick little outro, and if you could just stay with me for the next 20 seconds, and we'll be done. All right.
No doubt.
So, guys, thank you so much for staying with us for this episode. If you would like to see the full episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or you can see it on our website. We do put the highlights on our Instagram. Marcus, you've been amazing. You crushed the runway. You crushed your show and tell interview. I don't know what's next, but I guess I'm predicting that you'll crush that too. So I appreciate it very much, and I wish you a lot of luck for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.